do you think you'd pronounce it?
Economos.
Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah.
How do you say it?
Economos.
Okay, Economos, who is Rosebery's premier Greek accountant. Where do you service your clients mainly? While I have one of your beautiful Anzac cookies,
all over Australia.
Really,
predominantly New South Wales, Sydney, but all over Australia.
So
some international.
So what does an accountant do for? Do you mainly do small businesses, large enterprises?
That's a new word. Buzzword. No enterprises. We do like anything from mum and dads, small businesses, right up to our largest clients, a 50 mil turnover private company.
Who turns over 50 mil? Are you allowed to say?
Some private companies. The company's a very interesting business. It's called OPEC.
What do they do?
They're pretty diverse. They do like a lot of environmental remediation, unexploded ordnance on defense sites, pollution and chemical cleanups, things like that.
Environmental remediation.
So
that's something I find Chris would take a great interest in. What is environmental remediation? And let me just make sure we're recording while you.
They basically just clean up predominantly defense sites and other contaminated sites, ready for basic land.
How do you get into that job?
And one of their biggest things at the moment that they're doing, you probably would have heard of the forever chemicals, PFAS.
Oh yeah,
PFAS.
No, I haven't.
You worked in defense. This is like a defense.
I've heard of PFOAs.
PFOAs are
right. It's a subclass of it.
Well, PFAS is like a generic term. Petrofluoro something or other. Yeah. There's like tens of thousands of these compounds, like short chain, long chain ones, and they've developed like a system that will like clean.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't heard of this. Yeah.
They'll clean water sources, and they have these. Yeah. Make them in these container units. They call them SAF, surface activation fractionation systems.
Mate, you're not just good with the numbers, eh? You're good with everything.
Well, we do R&D claims for them every year. So they're very interesting business.
It is an interesting business.
Yeah. So I guess we've got to figure out a way to make a boring job interesting. Right? Would you say accounting is a boring job?
Yeah, definitely.
What is the main
day-to-day boring, but there are interesting things.
Like, what is the main? Take us through the scope in the day in the life of Peter Economos, the accountant. You get up, you brush your teeth, you have a shower.
You read the kids a book? Put my pants on like everyone else. Usually I get the kids out pretty quickly. Got to get them out, get to work early.
Daycare and school.
Yeah, daycare and school.
And Evander's going to your son is going to the Greek school?
He is.
Yep.
And
my brother actually went.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for a year and got kicked out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which brother?
Ethan.
They must have done. They must have picked up on something.
That enough. Yeah.
So we. I then go to the city. Usually, I'm at my desk by like 7:30.
So your office in the city?
Office in the city.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you want to shout out your company?
We're Blackwaddle Tax.
Nice. So if anyone wants their tax return done, you know who to hit up.
Yeah. And
then. Yeah, take us through it. You open the spreadsheet. What's the first one?
Spreadsheet. I usually go into our accounts, have a look at what's where we're up to. That probably takes like 5 minutes, and then have a look at our workflow for the day, see what staff are working on, and usually we get peppered overnight with 3 or 4 things that the clients want as an urgent thing. So you prioritize those things, and you just let the team work away. They know what they need to do, and you just sort of insert yourself where you need to. And usually I try and line up client meetings and stuff to sort of keep the business going and building the brand.
And so would you say you're like a finance expert?
It's a very, very general term.
Because I have a few questions.
Would you say that you're a martial arts expert?
I would, yes.
Would
you say I'm a martial arts expert?
It's a lot of
I'd say I'm a jiu-jitsu expert.
Yeah, well, not a martial arts.
So what scope of finance would you be an expert in?
I know what I know, and I know what I don't know. So I usually go and sit with the client, and I'll talk to them about what they want to do and what they're looking at doing. And they'll say, well, I can do this, and I know someone else that can do this. And this is everything that you probably need to think about.
And So my main question would be like, if you don't know something when it comes to like, let's call it accounting, but I want to say finance. Do you say you don't know, or do you?
Yeah. You have to.
What's like something in the accounting world before we get into the nitty gritty that's like, man, I can't touch that. That's way too complicated for me. Like writing off things for bikies or something like that. Like,
yeah, it's probably just too hot for me.
Okay, right. But you could do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't do it.
Yes, but like you have the knowledge, like a chemist would have the knowledge to make cocaine. You could do it. But you don't know if you'd get away with it.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Or you're not allowed to answer that question.
I think the oh, you just misled me on the question. What was the question again?
Sorry, like what is the thing you can't like?
Oh, can't.
It's like you're not an expert on.
Parameters.
Yeah.
So
what is something you'd be like, that's way too hard for me to do?
So the world of for a small business, and you would know, you'd see firsthand. There's so many little things that you have to know to do as a part of not just the ATO compliance, but as a part of like other regulatory and government organisations that like oversee it and bureaucratically administer businesses.
Yeah.
Because there's so many rules and regulations about what you can do, like hiring people, fair work, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Quite often accountants are the first point of call for a small business owner. Like, I have a problem with an employee, or I have a problem with,
and that's usually
a very complicated GST issue. And we're like, okay, well, we're more in the SME space, we're like kind of generalists. So you have to be very, very active about saying, well, I can't help you with this really complicated GST issue because there's so many things at play. You've got overseas transactions. It's not in my scope. We can work with someone else outside that can go and provide that. Yeah.
What would be like an example of like a really complicated GST issue that's, like you say, overseas? Because I don't have GST overseas.
No, I feel
like you're trying to mislead me here.
If you've got overseas dealings, how the government. I'll use this one as an example. Then transfer pricing, which is a big thing, and years ago it was targeted at just big businesses, and it means like if you have intercompany dealings with your own business with overseas entities, how you transact with them can actually push profits overseas,
right?
And at this stage, illegally, to avoid paying higher taxes in Australia versus the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, so let's get into what everyone wants to know. How would we push money to an offshore account, and how would that benefit us? Because let's talk about, because like people listening don't really care about, like the nitty gritty, I guess, of GST. They want to know, how do these drug dealers not pay taxes with offshore accounts?
I don't know. We don't have any as clients. But
you would know how it works, but
yeah. Like, how does that work exactly?
So from a big end of town, a lot of these offshore entities are the ones that own the IP rights to technology or products. So they can shift profits overseas by saying there's like a management fee or a licensing fee to a tax, a more favorable tax environment. But in Australia, we do have some very, very robust rules. It's trying to, as a small business, and I say anything that's under like 30 or 40 million dollars in turnover, so they're still quite big businesses. The amount of resources that those multinationals have to figure out those tiniest little loopholes and spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on single pieces of tax advice to set up these structures, you just can't do as a small business.
Yeah, right.
You just can't.
So it's like you have to be a big fish to kind of exploit those loopholes, essentially.
Yeah, I was reading something recently, and the actual numbers escape me, but it was like some of the wealthiest families and privately held businesses in the world, in Australia, can spend $1 million plus on average in their tax advice fees per year.
So they're like special. Are you the type of specialized accountant that could help someone do that? If like you had like a business come to you, they're like, look, we turn over 200 mil. We've got to get this money offshore to the Cayman Islands. Peter, help us out. Like, could you do it like in theory, or you'd be like, man, this is out of my league? Or would you be like, I want that $1 million?
Setting up, we know and probably have connections to people that can help with setting up
Okay, so no.
tax savings. But us ourselves, no. But
Yeah.
the more complicated stuff that we've done is help Australian companies set up overseas operations. So they'll set up a company in the US, they'll set up a company in Europe or something, and we'll help for them to understand as the Australian and global parent company how they have to manage all their global tax.
Yeah, it would get hard, right, when there's like all sorts of laws from different countries involved.
Yeah, it does. So we can't do it like we have clients that have operations in the UK. We can't help them lodge their tax return there. They have to connect with an accountant there, or we can help them find an accountant there.
It's so
and
annoying.
They need to lodge one there.
Yeah.
And then we help them understand how they prepare them here.
Right.
Yeah. It's a very boring answer.
No, that makes sense. So the next very important question, how do we solve the housing crisis here in Australia?
There's no solution.
Well, there's got to be something we can do.
There's no solution. Honestly,
What's your opinion on it? Like
the way our the way our economy is set up, you have to think about it from like a banking perspective. We have 4 major banks that control 80% of the market when it comes to lending to residential and or businesses. In all those cases that they lend to them, it's all like asset backed. So if you don't have property, they don't really want to know you. So that forces people. Yeah.
Is that why they say it's really hard to put your foot in the door? Like get yourself in the market?
The best piece of advice I can give to anyone that wants to actually generate wealth is that you actually have to be a business or a person that a bank wants to lend to, because that's the only way. If you get lent some money, you can go and buy something and hopefully it appreciates in capital.
Do you reckon the bank would lend to us since you know our books?
Yeah, I think they would.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. We're generating wealth already, Chris.
Something.
Nice.
Get something.
Let's go.
It's really like a case of generating wealth and the housing crisis. You actually have to get on the ladder. I don't think it's in anyone's interest, whether it's individuals, government, or banks, for any massive price decrease to occur. At best, and this is like a best case for people to be able to catch up, is that housing prices today just stop going up.
Yeah.
And it gives time for a generation to catch up.
Yeah.
Because if it drops by 20%,
We're all fucked.
we're all fucked. This is what happened in the GFC. Property prices, it was a different kind of recession.
You know, because like the lower class are kind of hoping for that GFC to happen again.
Yeah.
What's your kind of take on that? Like, do you think that would be something that would be
It
beneficial?
won't happen.
No. Whereas our financial...
A big claim by Mr. Economos here.
Our financial system... and look, our financial system is so over-financialized. You have more people that are graduating that are going into commerce and finance than they are going into engineering and actually being able to build stuff.
Yeah.
But
surely that's going to catch up. Like, surely something's going to happen. Something's going to give.
I think it is. It's like most Western countries have been in a low productivity environment for decades now.
Yeah.
I reckon.
So you don't think we're in a bubble?
That. You could say it's a bubble, but I just don't know how the bubble bursts.
Well, let me use, you've seen like how you're talking about the 2008 financial crisis?
Yeah.
Yeah, how no one thought that was going to burst because housing was so solid.
Yeah.
What makes you think that this is any different?
Australian banks are very, very conservative. We're not like the US, but we get a lot of our money from the US. So, yeah, there's contagion risk. But from an Australian perspective, even when the GFC occurred, we had a very sharp drop in property prices very quickly. I think it was like 30% overnight.
Yeah.
But within 12 months, the market recovered.
Yeah. How long did it take in the US? Sorry to cut you off.
I don't know. But it probably took a lot longer because it was more ingrained into their financial system.
Yeah.
Our property prices were still, Australia was relatively sheltered during the GFC.
Yeah.
We still had the mining boom that was still going on. So we had this like dual speed economy. So parts of Australia were doing crap, parts were doing okay. So we actually didn't go through I think a technical recession, which would have been like 2 periods of declining economic growth.
Now, there's a lot of, like, I've spoken to accountants, or let's call them, in inverted commas, financial experts that think that Australia are currently going through a recession.
Per capita recession, yes.
Yeah. Can you kind of describe that or explain it in layman terms?
Per capita just means that the amount of money that each person is contributing to the economy is declining.
Yeah, and we're seeing that, right?
Our net migration on a total basis, our economy is growing. So we're just importing more people, which adds to the housing crisis.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no fix. And if you talk to any one of my clients, they all have the same issue that they can't find staff and they have to pay staff astronomical prices to do less than what they were doing maybe 5 years ago.
I think we literally had this conversation a few days ago.
So productivity is decreasing. And
do you think that's a generational attitude thing as well? Like that staff nowadays,
I think it's a West
expect more for less.
I think it's a
Can I have another cookie?
yeah, of course.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cut him off.
Yeah, 2 cookie max.
No, smash this thing, bro. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Keep sidetracking me.
Sorry. I'm really bad with that.
What was I saying?
It's talking. Is it a generational thing?
No, I think it's a cornerstone weakness of Western countries in that we are fortunate to be in these countries because they're safe. There is good opportunity compared to a lot of countries that people have come from, but it is a pyramid scheme. The only way that that generation
You're right,
will
Chris.
get better is bringing in a whole nother bunch of net migration that can sort of push up and take on those jobs that no one wants to do.
But you would say that Australia's like pretty conservative as a government, like in terms of migration?
No.
Really?
No, I like it's the reason why our country had become so great, and no one knows how to turn it off because everything's relying on it. Propping up our construction and property sector is relying on it. Propping up our hospitality sector is relying.
The hospitality sector sucks at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's a big sector. Okay. Tourism, I think tourism's probably like 4th or 5th biggest economy that we have. Our second biggest economy.
So when you say migration, do you mean people settling here?
Settling here, or even temporary?
Because I know that we've looked at employing overseas staff, and it's like much more difficult nowadays than it was.
Visas, right?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Visas.
Yeah, like we know so many people with visa issues and that are saying, it's really, really difficult to become a permanent resident here. So would that not be conservative, like I said? Like
maybe conservative into comparison of like 2 years ago, but is it conservative in comparison to what is required now for such an established economy to keep putting pressure on infrastructure and systems and parts of the economy? It's crazy. Like our second or third biggest industry is our tertiary education system.
Yeah, I was about to say education, like because we get so many international.
We get so many people. Yeah. Our universities are potentially insolvent if you take out any aspect of overseas students, which is crazy.
So they rely on migration as well.
They rely on migration, and they rely.
So everyone's in each other's pockets, is what you're saying.
It's just our system is too complicated to unwind without something breaking catastrophically.
So what do you think is the first thing that could break? If gun to your head, like, what do you think goes first?
I don't know. I think we would just live in this benign world of just like being happy with our lives on social media.
Yeah.
All just
because like you would agree that it's like, because you're a business owner as well, that it's just significantly harder to make money as a business owner. There's all these laws coming in all the time. Like you said, you have to pay staff way more nowadays. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like I think we're taking steps forward in terms of, on the fair work side of things, like people were getting fucked quite a few years ago. Chris and myself are a good example. What are we going to do? Like if it keeps going like this, like, is there any point in owning a small business? Why wouldn't you just go and work for a company and be a slave to it?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the environment that makes a lot of sense. That's maybe a huge unintended consequence of the direction that Western economies take.
Yeah.
We are so heavily regulated because we want to make sure that everyone's safe and has opportunity and stuff.
Yeah.
But now it is so hard to make money. I was sitting down with a couple of clients yesterday, and both of them were in the construction. It was an informal catch up, both of them in the construction sector. And one of them touched on those two things, that it's so hard to make money, and that one of his mentors and someone that he looks up to in the industry that was saying to him, just don't get too big, because it is just too much work. It is just too much effort, and you can try it, but I guarantee you will not want to be, 3 times the size of your business now.
Yeah.
You might make a little bit more money, like marginally, but.
Well, I just feel that every time we make money, like, okay, this is going to sound really stupid to anyone listening, and they'll laugh at me when they hear this, but it's like, I didn't realize how much fucking tax you got to pay, right? Until we started making money. Like when you're not making money, you're like, oh, this is mad. Like they're giving us money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then once we started, and I'm not saying we make, you can attest to this because people are going to try and rip me off now that I've said that we make money. But now that we make a little bit of money, it's crazy that whatever profit, to me, it's crazy that whatever profit you make, 25%, is it 25%? Is that correct? 30%?
Like an average small business, based on ATO benchmarks, generally across any industry, would be targeting an end of year net profit of around 10 to 15%.
Okay, so still that's a significant amount that's going back to the ATO.
Yeah.
And then whatever you pocket from that, 30% gets paid to the ATO again.
Well, let me give you
if you do a payout. Wait, just before you say that. And then whatever you get, and then correct me if I'm wrong, whatever you buy, 10% goes to GST. Like, when does it stop? Like, this is just getting outrageous.
It doesn't stop.
And then there's super.
Common complaint.
Yeah.
So, on my socials, I made a little skit video to this very point.
Yeah.
Like new business owners don't realize until they get into the thick of it, and it usually takes them a year.
Why didn't you warn me?
Half. Then you wouldn't be a client.
Yeah, that's true.
But you start a business and you're like, great, making some money. Here's a bit of GST that I have to pay on the income and the goods and services I provide. Oh, great, I'm making a bit more money. I'll hire someone. Well, you got to get workers' comp, which is indirectly something you're forced to do. You got to pay them their salary and withhold their PAYG.
Yeah.
You got to pay them super, which is 12% on top of that. Okay, well, I want to hire more people. You get, depending on your state that you're in, you pay payroll tax on a huge workforce, which is, the most misaligned tax, I'd probably say, in Australia.
Yeah. I don't think we pay that. We don't have that many people.
We're under the threshold. But,
what's the threshold? How many people?
It depends on the states. But
New South Wales?
You start tipping over towards $1 million.
Okay.
You're going to be potentially, depending on where you're operating, in that vicinity of payroll tax, which is a crazy tax.
Just to let everyone know, we're nowhere near that yet.
You just haven't paid your bonuses this year.
Yeah, okay.
But you pay payroll tax, then all of a sudden you're like, well, I'll go, I've made a bit more money. I'll go buy a property. You pay stamp duty on that property.
Yeah.
Insurance, pay land tax,
mortgage, lenders insurance.
Yeah. When you sell it, you're going to pay capital gains tax on it. And then depending on how you own it, you might.
And there's inheritance tax, is there not? Or do we not have that yet?
There's not inheritance tax. There's it's not like, I don't know about the US, but I think they have a bigger, chunkier inheritance tax. Like I've recently gone through a couple of matters with clients.
Yeah.
And I think there's like a threshold once your asset pool is over 8 or 10 mil, there's like a fee that goes to the government.
Yeah.
So, but it's not, in comparison to that value, it's not anything astronomical.
And so is there any point for young listeners listening to them starting a small business if there is so many negatives that are now coming up?
Yeah, because it's not all rosy on the other side. Like it can be, I've worked in big companies. I worked in institutional banking at NAB. I worked in corporate banking at St. George. I've worked at large companies. I worked in a large accounting firm, international accounting firm as well. Those can be very soulless and not very fulfilling.
So you'd say it's like more the human part of the small business, like that we actually enjoy what we do.
Yeah. Like I enjoy coming around and talking to you guys and my other clients. When I was at NAB, I use that as an example.
Yeah.
Woolworths was the bank's biggest client and was one of our clients. We would have zero interaction with Woolworths. So each year or each quarter they would release their numbers. We would wait, like the public, download their reports, start crunching away on some numbers, and then give our report to credit on what was going on with the business.
Yeah, right.
So it was very impersonal. You're literally sitting around with your 4 colleagues,
Yeah.
and that's all you're doing. No client.
So it's boring, essentially. Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah.
It's very, very soulless. And I knew, like, in a very cynical way, I'm like, you're a cog. Yeah, I could go away for.
You're in the
6 months.
corporate rat race, essentially.
I
Yeah.
could go away for 6 months, and my job would have had 0 impact on the outcome. Woolworths would have still got the money that they were asking for. Everything else would have been done. No one would have known.
Whereas I'm going to Europe in September and we're in a panic. What's going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
At least I feel like an important mechanism.
Yeah. Like, people count on you, and you're noticed when you come back. People notice it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you'd say it's like, the relationship part of owning a small business is like the benefit. But
and this, like, depending on the industry that you're in, the saleability of it, like, so you can.
So your goal is to sell the business eventually.
Well, you should always have the goal of operating a business so you could take a payday at one point, because it's tax efficient. That's probably one of the most tax efficient things that you can do.
I'll just wait. They're going to change that soon.
Running a small business, build it up, sell it. Because the way the CGT discounts and things, some of the other tax incentives, small business tax concessions that you can receive, can actually mean a sizable difference in the tax outcome that you pay. So earning $100,000 as a salary at a company versus selling a business for $100,000, you get a better tax outcome on selling a business.
How much do you pay in tax on selling a business?
It depends on your personal circumstance.
Oh, yeah. So still, they're going to find a way to get
advice.
So what happens if your parents are wealthy? You pay more.
Yeah, probably hire in a higher income.
Because I have a hex set every time I do payroll. I'm like, why the fuck is Chris earning more than me? You know, because it deducts.
You got to check and make sure that if your hex has been paid off, that you switch it off as well. Because I have had clients that come to us.
No, it hasn't been paid off. I'm nowhere near paying it off. Yeah, I'm cooked.
Yeah,
I'll be paying that thing for the rest of my life, I reckon. Yeah, no.
Even medical degree.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, no, that's better. I remember going to uni. I did a commerce law degree, a subject that was a part of my commerce degree, and that cost me, just for one semester, it cost me like $3,000.
No way.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now we spoke about. Do you want to ask a question? I feel like I'm just hijacking the conversation.
No, you're
He's quietly dying.
Yeah. Chris had pneumonia, everyone, so he's happy not talking.
Yeah.
He's taking notes for QAnon.
We spoke about like the backbone of the Australian economy. The third biggest or fourth biggest you said was tertiary education.
Yeah.
Mining is obviously a big one.
Yeah, I think I think for either financial sector or mining are the biggest. And I think
and banking, right?
Real financial sector. Yeah. So financial services. So anything from like
here's an educated hippie question for you. Why is Saudi Arabia so rich and has so many fossil fuels? And why do we have so much fossil fuel? And we get fuck all from it. Like, what's going on?
Whoever made those deals?
Yeah, it's a trade.
Obviously didn't read Trump's book.
Oh, The Art of the Deal.
The Art of the Deal.
I'm going to write a book, actually, The Art of the Deal.
It's a shit deal, which is why it's like really easy to incite like public outrage. Like, what's a politics?
Oh, so it is a shit deal. I'm not like
it sounds like
left to center with that.
We get bugger all royalties given to us. We get told that it's because they're generating jobs for our economy.
Yeah.
But we sign over these rights to large companies that can basically ship like our natural resources off for cents in the dollar.
But it's horrendous.
It's horrendous because, we pay so much for electricity. We pay so much for basic needs in a country where we shouldn't. We've got so much land. We've got so much resources. And we actually do fuck all with it.
Yeah.
There was an article that caused outrage like 2 or 3 years ago about how unsophisticated the Australian economy is.
Was it true though?
Yeah. Well, I think the soundbite was like, we dig stuff up and we educate people and not much else.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's true. Like, we're all very well educated and reasonably intelligent as an economy.
Yeah,
we should be doing more. Like, our smartest guys aren't building the next wave of technology.
Yeah,
we're just sitting there,
That's so true, actually.
trying to get our heads around bureaucratic contracts that we have to do for government jobs that take 15 years to make a metro line.
But surely that's going to put us behind eventually. Like, surely how are we going to, I feel like we're playing catch up here compared to the other nations. Like China, they ain't waiting, like they're building.
Yeah, but China's got its own problems. Like, people think that these countries are invincible to any sort of normal economic problems. And China we've got contacts in China and clients.
Do you now?
Yeah. And they're in the manufacturing space. And 15 years ago, take Shanghai as an example.
Yeah.
I went there maybe like 8 years ago. Business owner was driving us through maybe half an hour outside of the center of Shanghai, and he was pointing around, and there's huge skyscrapers. It was like you were driving down the middle of the CBD in Sydney, and he said that this was all farmland 3 years ago, and it's a huge city, and just the economic growth and the money that they put into it to just drive their economy was hugely impactful. Come back 5 years later, went to his site. He has this huge factory. I think it was 3 years later we went back, actually, and there was a high-speed rail. They had like 500 meters down from where his factory was.
Yeah.
They're just like
They're just getting shit done.
compulsorily acquired a whole bunch of land and high-speed rail. It was fully ready to go. There wasn't even a sign of construction the first time we went, and it was done. And we've taken 10 years, 15 years to build metro lines.
Yeah.
There's no hope, but they have the biggest problem.
There's no hope.
They have they have big problems now. Like
The population issue is big.
Population issue, aging population, and their middle class has become a wealthy middle class. And much like us, they get lazy. They don't want to work. They want more pay for doing less.
Yeah.
The cost of manufacturing for them, a lot of them are now trying to figure out ways to offshore their manufacturing to cheaper countries like Bangladesh, Indonesia.
Well, that's what,
Thailand.
and I know they just got fucked by the tariffs as well, because we manufacture things from China, and that's making things more expensive for us. And they've directly told me, manufacturers are, because of the Trump tariffs, we're going to have to prices.
I'd always second guess whether they're just taking it as an opportunity to push up prices, because the on and off game that Trump's playing with tariffs, it's hard to gauge when they actually have flown through.
Yeah, when they're going to take place.
But everyone's
Bangladesh
trying to get a crawl over each other.
Yeah, Bangladesh and Pakistan are happy. They're not too worried about the tariffs. But I know there were some delays with the war with India.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some geese were meant to be a few weeks ago. They're going to take a few more weeks. Sorry, sir, due to war, we've had some delays.
Is that because of the northern, they're fighting with China in...
No, Pakistan had an incident with India. Yeah. Actually, you asked a question. I just need to get some sparkling water. Would anyone want sparkling water?
No,
I'm all right.
Thank you.
You want a cookie?
No, I'm good. Thanks, mate.
Before Raf eats them all?
No, let him eat them. Let him eat them. So you don't think the tariffs have taken hold? They're still in negotiations?
No, I don't. It's not an area of expertise for me. But I do know that human behavior, people are opportunistic. They see an opportunity to pass on a price increase, they'll take it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Which has put a lot of pressure on, because you looked at what was happening, particularly during COVID, somewhere along the line when construction prices were increasing and now they're still inflated. Someone was making a lot of money. You just don't know where along the line, but everyone felt like they were getting screwed somewhere.
Yeah.
So it just made a lot of people discontent about how the world's run. COVID supercharged a lot of things in a lot of negative ways.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it also opened people up to, how do I say this? I think it accelerated the process of people being fed up with certain things. I mean, we saw a huge cultural shift, I think, because of COVID. Not just in terms of
medicine and stuff, but in terms of finances. It was almost like a cultural revolution. Way.
There is a larger view now that maybe the country's not being run in the best interest for the people that are here.
Exactly right. Yeah. And it's not being run the most efficiently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely like you can make a lot of
Yeah.
jokes at Elon and Doge and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's very, very, very credible. I have a client. He was working on the Sydney Metro.
Yeah.
He was on a contract that was getting renewed every 6 months, and annually he was making somewhere between 500 and 600 grand on a contract.
Like personally or his
Personally,
business? Yeah.
personally,
Right.
to the point where he could leverage it to make a business to find people to outsource parts of his job to. And the flip side of that was, why wouldn't the government just go and hire that guy, pay him his 200 grand a year, really healthy, like strong salary? You're paying him more than twice as much because you want the flexibility to not have him as a permanent employee. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why the government would run at such a costly way.
It's not efficient.
No, it's not efficient. And they, like, a lot of the inflation that we've seen in the building construction sector is probably being driven, at least domestically, by all these massive infrastructure projects that they build, and said that, you know, we've got all these things that are going to change the landscapes of all our major cities. And then all of a sudden, the Sparky and the plumber that would make, you know, like $700 a day working on someone's house goes, oh, I can make $1,500 a day working on a tunnel. I know what deal I'm going to take. I'm going to go to the tunnel. So then it became really hard to find tradies because those opportunities were there. And then the government in the past 2-3 years has just gone, anything that wasn't green lit or had a shovel in the ground already, we're pulling back from, because we can't pay $400 million for a road that was only going to cost us $200 million. Like,
Well, do you think that's why the construction and trade sector have had such a big boom, because there's such a lack of them? Or do you?
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's so many of them now. Like everyone's a tradie. You know, every
supply and demand. The government made a huge demand for them.
Yeah.
In infrastructure projects, and then the supply just couldn't keep up with it. And the thing that suffers is people's houses.
Yeah.
That's like the lowest margin place to work.
You'd almost think like if there were more houses being built, the demand would lower. So how does that work?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Like if you're saying that there's so much infrastructure being built.
Yeah, infrastructure is in like roads, tunnels, railways, not houses.
And so could that solve the issue if the government just said, look, we're going to subsidize heaps of housing now instead of tunnels and roads?
They always come up with shit policies that don't really target the problem. I think in the 70s or 80s, they actually had a housing commission that would build houses.
Yeah.
They probably have something similar now that doesn't build houses. They just write expensive reports every quarter and then say why they can't build houses, why the private sector can't keep up. Yeah.
And so where do we go from here then? Like, would that fix the issue if I got into politics and push through legislation that would build houses? Like,
just threaten them in.
But I don't think I'm allowed to. You probably know, I think because I was born overseas.
No, you would be able to.
I don't think I'm allowed to. What happened with the Kiwi? No, it wasn't the Kiwi bloke. There was some bloke who wasn't allowed to be prime minister.
Oh,
because he was born overseas.
No,
am I?
I think you can't be a dual national. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
It might have been a passport thing.
I'm a tri-national.
You might have to go.
So you'd have to give up
a French passport. That place has gone to hell anyway, though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going soon, so I'll let you know what it's like. Have you been recently back to Europe? You went to Greece recently, actually.
I went to Greece. I went. My friend got married. He lives in outside of Aix-en-Provence in France.
Oh yeah, we were talking about this. Yeah,
pretty beautiful.
Your dad went as well, right?
No.
Or Chrissy? No. Your parents were telling me they loved Aix-en-Provence.
Oh, they might have gone separately.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed your time there?
I loved it.
I'm going there soon.
One of the best roast chickens I had from a local market ever. It's fantastic. It's the small things in life, mate. Small things.
Nice.
You and your kids are so obsessed with food.
Golly, this is a little creature.
He tried to convince me that the Fruit Loops Ian was eating were healthy.
They were low sugar. I didn't say they were healthy.
Oh, okay. They're full of food coloring. You know, he's like, yeah, we're real careful about this. We give him like low sugar Fruit Loops.
Said the guy that's got like a man-sized pack of Mentos in.
Where?
It's under there.
Mentos. Oh, yeah, because the kids party. Yeah, I don't eat them though. Sometimes I have a lollipop when I'm feeling like it. You know, I have to have my sugar hits, bro. I'm very big on sugar. So, let's move away from finance then for a second. You have 2 kids that do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Tell us about the benefits. Just so we can plug the gym.
Can you give me a report card on them? How are they going?
Look,
Evander, you go with this one, Peter.
Yeah.
Peter, I mean Chris, because you've
Actually,
Evander.
Well, we're saying the changeover from.
Because you're teaching Evander more now, which is Peter's eldest son.
I still feel it's a teething process.
he's strong-willed.
No, but I think there's been massive improvement. Like,
Yeah.
if he
I
used
think
to
it's
just flop on the mat and do nothing, and now he's
I think it's like just that jump between the two classes because obviously the curriculum's slightly harder. And I think it's just getting into the
swing of it.
I think just the habit of sitting there and seeing more complex things being broken down for him because I think like toddlers is just such a more fast-paced, smooth class.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm putting them in scenarios and telling them they have to drill together.
he looks like he enjoys it more.
Yeah. He asks regularly to come to the no-gi classes.
Oh, has he
like
done
pretty
the
much-
Yeah, he did one with me the other day.
And I might bring him today.
He really liked it
Loves
the other day.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
How'd he go?
He was good. He was having a good time. Like, again, because look, we normally take them at 7, in that class.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's happened due to the dynamic of the gym. The younger kids have gotten younger.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because wait, let me tie this to
Right,
finance.
yeah.
The pressure of the economy has forced us to take in younger kids due to the increases in and inflation and rent and everything. So we're like, all right, we got to do whatever it takes to get a bit more money going. So we've taken in the younger kids, like even as young as 2.5, like Egan,
Yeah.
right, in the toddlers class.
How's Egan going?
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the older kids in what was the young kids class are getting bored because there's like
Yes.
in inverted commas babies now in that
Yeah,
class, and they feel I'm too big for this,
He-
and they look like they're overperforming because the younger kids are underperforming, and then we go, okay, well we're going to push those kids to the big kids class,
Yeah.
and now Evander's found himself in the big kids class as a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
So obviously that class is designed for
Big
developmentally for 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he can't do it. Like he's a very smart kid, but he struggles more due to that. And
Yeah.
there's other 7
He
and 8
definitely
year-olds.
struggles with some of the more technical aspects of seeing how moves and
Yeah,
submissions work. But to your point, I could see I thought he was regressing in the little
Yes,
class.
I agree with that.
He was
Yeah.
not being challenged, he was bored, and he was actually acting out and behaving,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is kind of a big thing about.
But I mean, parents always tell me, oh, my kid's not behaving because he's bored. I agree with you. He was bored, but I think he's just Evander as well. You know what I mean? Like he's always going to be cheeky and stuff. But
He's cheeky.
But I thought in the Nogi class, he was definitely more interested in what was going on when I taught him the other day in the older class.
What were you doing with him?
I taught mount like to a chest strap to an armbar.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it mattered what I was teaching, just the fact it was more complicated and the kids were older and they were all listening that he was kind of zoned in. He was dialed into
there
the
is
class.
something about the kids not wanting a gi on because they actually feel full mobility.
That's true. Maybe.
Like you might discount and think it's a small thing, but
Yeah.
he constantly wants to wrestle without his gi on.
Do you think that's an autistic thing because of claustrophobia and like? I'm not saying he's autistic. I'm just saying like a lot of kids like don't like being claustrophobic
it's
like that
stiff.
nowadays. Yeah.
It's stiff. It's like a very, and at that age, they're wearing gis that are oversized, not like your guys' ones, which are like, not long. They're not overhanging.
Yeah.
Baggy. They're actually
Again, I think once you see him hit that 7-year-old mark, like he'll fit the gi properly. You know what I mean? And he'll he's growing quick.
Yes, he's going through a growth spurt right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
But I definitely think that there's been massive improvement, not just in his jiu-jitsu, but I think the biggest thing that I saw was that he actually wants to wrestle now.
Yeah,
Whereas before he was flopping, he was like, "Oh, I can't be bothered. I'm just having fun." And,
Yeah. He's got a bit more aggro in him because he's a pretty jovial kid.
Yeah.
But now he gets a fair bit of aggro, particularly with one of the other kids that he's been training with.
Aslan?
Yeah.
Are they still like neck and neck?
So, because Aslan's got a brother as well, I actually feel like Aslan likes hanging out with my younger kid and Evander likes hanging out with Aslan's older brother.
Yeah.
Because all they've known is wrestling. So they just get so aggro at each other, even when we've gone to the park and stuff. And then they'll start like mucking around and it always escalates beyond what it needs to.
Yeah.
Well, you go to the park with
Yeah, we've gone a couple of times.
Oh, right.
That's nice.
Yeah. So, it's like, it's good.
They're both good kids, like at
Yeah.
heart. Like they're both kind, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can see
but-
they have a good heart.
When they're like one-on-one,
Yeah,
it's just,
but they have the best rounds together,
They
man.
do have-
Like they are really good to have because I mean,
The other kids don't really want to wrestle with each other, but Evander and Aslan, like they
Yeah.
really want to wrestle with each other. And have you seen like benefits at home of it? Like I guess there are probably other parents listening that are like, oh, should I put my kid into jiu-jitsu? Like, I guess from a neutral point of view, you don't have to sell the gym, but what do you think? Like, do you think it's a good sport for them? Like,
yeah, it's fantastic. He does boxing as well, but he comes here 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
He goes to boxing once a week, and usually that can get pushed back because of scheduling and stuff like that. Behaviorally, you think that your kid, whether they're mucking around on the mat or not, they're not absorbing anything. But even from an early age, when he started, when he was 2.5, he was absorbing everything, and they go home and then all they want to do for an hour is their jiu-jitsu moves and their warm-ups.
Yeah,
they won't do it on
Kevin
the
said
mat.
the same thing.
They
Yeah,
won't do it on the mat, but they'll go home, and Egan will do the same thing. He'll do it for half an hour. He'll just say, watch me do monkey swings.
Yeah.
And that's all he'll do.
Yeah.
So you feel like even if they, that's why I'm like big on, even if they come here and they have a little tantrum, which Egan and Evander have had their moments, you keep them.
it's rare though. Like
It's
I think
rare.
Egan more so than Evander. I've very rarely seen Evander not want to step on the mat. Maybe once.
Yeah,
you know?
but I'm always big on, like, if you can, as a parent, be away from them so they can just be on the mat. Even if they don't, like Egan's literally sat there. I think it's been through Nick's class once. He just sat on the wall the whole time.
Yeah.
And I'd prefer that than taking him off the mat going, okay, well, you don't want to do anything today.
Yeah.
Let's just get out of here.
yeah, because you kind of give in to what they want, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
right?
You just say, nah, you're here for half an hour. You're going to watch, because he's taking something in.
Yeah.
And then
No, he's smart. Like he knows.
he gets it.
And that's the thing is like I know he knows.
knows because he's done the movements.
Yeah.
And sometimes when he sits on the wall and goes, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. I'm like, I know you can.
He's much more stubborn.
And you'd be surprised. Like I've got 3 and 4-year-olds that are on the wall, and I'll ask questions. I'll be like, okay, monkey swings. What do you want to put on the floor? And all the kids are just staring at me like dogs taking a shit, and I'm like, anyone? And Egan will go, hands.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does a 2.5-year-old know?
like well, 4-year-olds in his class.
He is a bit more cautious than Evander is, but he definitely sits there and learns from Evander. Like my wife said to me, like they learn more as a sibling. You'll like, hopefully I learn this one day.
Yeah.
That your kids will learn more from your other kids than they will from you eventually.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's terrifying as well.
Yeah.
That's why you got to bring the first one up real good,
Because then it
Yeah,
shows all the other one.
Some of it's going to be out of your control.
Yeah,
But yeah, go with that.
Do you know what I mean? Like
I do.
If the first one is like
I think it's more
under the whip, like
I think it's more social behaviors. Like you can't teach your kids to be smart or creative, but social behaviors, like who are the most important people in the world? That's your family. You take care of them. Everything else you'll figure out. Like,
Evander's smart. I think he's smart.
he's very clued up. He's
I think streetwise.
he's probably too much for his own good sometimes. Like he starts to use my words against me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did say that, but not in this context.
I love how he calls you Peter.
Yeah.
Why did that start?
Yeah. He said that in a couple of public bathrooms a couple of times. In very awkward situations.
Why did that start? He's like, no, I don't want to call him that.
No.
I want to call him Peter.
It started because I had taught Evander to like yell out like at the top of his lungs when he was like 2 years old. And my wife's name, like Chrissy. So he would be sitting in a cafe and she'd be like going to go pay. And then he would just yell out, Chrissy.
Yeah.
And like he would do it in like an affectionate way.
Yeah.
And then I think Chrissy then goes, well, you can do it to your dad.
Yeah, you can do Peter.
Yeah.
And that's why it started.
Yeah.
That's cute. But yes, Egan is doing well, your younger son. But there are just days he just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So,
He's much more stubborn. So
but I think it's like just getting it as a consistent routine, and then he'll be.
yeah.
It'd be sweet.
He's much more stubborn where I found that anytime I had an issue with Evander, I could guide a conversation over 5 minutes to him doing some part of what I'm asking him to do.
Yeah.
Egan sometimes will just dig his heels in and go, not happening. He'll just stonewall you as
Yeah.
well. He won't respond. He'll be like,
Yeah, he does that to me.
just hit your brother. Can you say sorry? And you just stonewall you. Just look
Yeah.
right through you. Just go.
It's almost serial killer. It's a bit scary, bro.
Yeah, he's probably going to drink hot water.
Yeah, I was about to say. Peter drinks boiling water, raw dogged, just with nothing in it.
It's cooled down a bit by the time I drink it. It's
Yes, but
straight out of the kettle.
that is fucked.
That's very odd. It's a very odd
Like
thing.
put a tea bag in it or something at least, bro. Put some honey or ginger or something, you know.
It's good. It's
I just drink
very cleansing.
fresh boiling
Just
water.
fresh water.
Straight out the
Ideally filtered, but I'll take that.
kettle. What does it matter if you're boiling it?
Huh?
Doesn't matter if
It's
you're
the PFAS chemicals.
Oh, okay, right. you know what I mean. Did you do any other sports?
Not since school.
What did you play at school?
I played basketball and rugby,
You're not
swimming.
rugby.
Rugby.
How did you go with that? Break a few collarbones?
No, I never broke anything. But I learned pretty quickly that I didn't grow after year 12, so I wasn't going to go play in club rugby and versus a bunch of islanders that
Yeah.
were just like
Massive.
use me as a toothpick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basketball, you're not that tall either.
No. I wasn't an elite level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just playing it.
Did you have any aspirations, like a lot of fathers, that your kids would vicariously live through you and become athletes? Like,
no. That's probably.
or did you want them to become accountants?
Definitely not. Definitely not. There's one piece of advice that I can give any client is don't make your kid force your kid into a succession plan. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're great at jiu-jitsu and you think your kid's going to be great at jiu-jitsu, don't shoehorn them into it, because the truth is that it's statistically improbable that they're going to be as good as you or even want to do it.
Yeah.
Um,
I say that all the time. My
Yeah.
daughter's probably going to want to do horse riding or something.
Yeah. Let them go do it. Let them do jiu-jitsu because it can cross-pollinate whatever they want to end up doing, but don't shoehorn them into any career.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it in personal circumstances and in professional client circumstances, and more often than not, in fact, 9 times out of 10, I'd say it was a bad idea to force that pathway.
Yeah.
So you kind of just need to give your kids a generalist approach. Go try a few things. There's a few good cornerstone things that you should be doing. You should be playing a team sport. You should be doing some sort of martial art discipline. You should be doing a couple other things. You should probably try and find a musical instrument. And then over time, something will come out of it.
What made you put the kids into jiu-jitsu? Like why jiu-jitsu and wrestling and
Well, it's low impact versus boxing. I think all of them are good disciplines. It doesn't really matter. If you want to have an academic argument about who will win a fight, sure, jiu-jitsu is always going to say that they're going to win.
No, not necessarily. I think it really depends. Like when we talk about fights, if someone is
A very accomplished striker.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to take them down.
Well, it's not that it's going to be hard to take them down. It's just that there's a high risk that they could clip you.
Yeah.
And if they clip you and rock you, like, how effective are you going to be at grappling? Like, probably not. But we do kind of tend to argue that jiu-jitsu is more effective. And again, like it's become a bit of a meme, but at a street level, because 90% of fights end up in like if you ever watch a bar fight or whatever on YouTube, like they'll start swinging with no striking knowledge, and then they end up in a clinch, and then it ends up on the floor. Like, I'd say 90% of the time, and my statistics could be wrong on that. So if you have some knowledge of grappling, you're probably going to come out on top because you know how to reverse the guy, get on top, and then once you're in mount position or something, you could start laying down punches on the guy. Whereas if you're on the bottom and you don't know how to escape mount, which is why it's the first thing we teach the kids, chances are like you're probably going to be in a bit of trouble, even if the guy doesn't have any striking knowledge. But it's the same with kickboxing. Like, how are you going to close the distance on a kickboxer? The guy could just fucking roundhouse kick you in the head and down you go.
If you talk from an amateur perspective, though, people are doing this because they want some sort of physical activity that doesn't require them doing repetitive sets in a gym. They want to do something that is a bit more mentally engaging. Yeah, I've got friends. One friend in particular, their son was 16. He took up boxing. He loved it. Was really good at it.
Yeah.
Got to 18, got to opens, and then got knocked around a couple times.
Yeah.
2 or 3 concussions in the space of 2 or 3 months.
And he was had
And
enough.
he's like, well, I'm not going to compete anymore.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, he was never probably going to go down a path of, being a professional athlete in that sport. So why take that risk? He's lost something that he probably very much enjoyed, going in and sparring with someone and having like
well, that just sounds like, and I don't know if you're very close to this person, but it just sounds like poor coaching and poor decision making from his team, because like if you know the guy's not good, why would you put him in a fight, have a concussion, and then put him up in another one?
Fight, yeah.
Like I know, and there's a lot of discussion about this, like that a lot of MMA people I know say if they get concussed or they get knocked really bad, they won't fight for like a year. Like they're like, I'm going to take a year off and recover because I don't want to get another concussion straight after, because we know now, we didn't before, how bad that is with CTE and stuff for the brain.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people like jiu-jitsu as well because of the community aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, because we don't really hang around that many gyms and commercial gyms, but I think one of the best things about training here is that we all train, and then after class we sit around and chat, and a lot of students come and say the best part is just that we just talk shit after class and that we all bond. And it can be just a random person, it's their second time here, and they feel very much a part of the group. And I think I don't know if boxing has that, because I've never done boxing.
Well,
I'm sure they do.
Think about how you're training. You're probably training with your coach, and then you might be sparring another guy. You're probably not talking very much. But jiu-jitsu, and I haven't done it myself, but you observe it, you're sitting there and you're communicating throughout the session.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're drilling technique.
Yeah. So you're actually like this. If you're constantly talking to someone on a very basic level, you're engaging.
And it's quite like, not to make it gay, but like it's quite personal. Like you're up close and personal with another dude. Like, you're not going to make it awkward and just sit there and stare at each other. You know what I mean? You're going to chat. So, like, when are you going to do it? Your brother always talks. You're always like, my brother's coming in.
My outside view is that my body, now is developed in a way that it probably isn't malleable to jiu-jitsu.
It would be, bro. It would be. Like, you're saying that, but it's not true. Like, you could do it. Like,
I would, but right now
we've had like
right now.
What was Peter's age? Like 60? Like start with us, like as a white belt.
Right now, I
old Peter. They used to come midday classes. Yeah.
I'd probably come once the kids are both in the older class, because if I came and brought my first kid to the first class and then
you'd stay here for a while.
I'd be here for like, I might as well have a.
But you could alternate. Like on Wednesday, Chrissy could bring him, and then you could just do the evening class. Like,
yeah.
I think you would enjoy it. But you're kind of thinking of it from a perspective like, I'm old now. I can't. Is that what you're saying? Like, my body's run down. I can't do it.
At the moment,
but it's not just a bunch of young guns that do it. Like, we have all ages and
I definitely would like to. Fitting it into my busy schedules.
We all have a busy schedule. It's never a question of time. It's a question of priority, Peter.
That's true.
You know,
I got a couple other priorities right now.
What's your other? What other hobbies do you have? Watching Lord of the Rings at home.
Life, family. Yeah, teaching my kids about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I see you always on Instagram. What is it, like with the mince machine making meat? You know that thing that you turn?
It's called a meat grinder.
The meat grinder.
When have you seen that on Instagram?
Bro, I've seen you once using it.
Yeah.
Once.
I've seen it a few times. I've seen it a few times.
I probably haven't made burgers in at least a year and a half.
Okay, all right.
You're really putting some stuff from the archive.
This is a long time ago. I think I seen you use that thing, but
talking about.
Well, what are your other hobbies that would like?
Mate, you throw 2 kids in the mix and you get very little time.
I don't feel like our lives are that different. Like I've got a kid.
One kid at the moment. Throw 2 kids.
I agree. It would be harder with 2.
It's like exponential. It's an astronomical difference going from no kids to 1 kid because all of a sudden you have to take care of something, but there's 2 of you to do it. So you can divide and conquer. You go out this weekend, I'll stay home. You know, we can go out together, have a very.
But couldn't you do the same with 2? Like you look after both, and
you can, but
it's harder.
It's harder, particularly the younger that they are, because they have like.
Is the shop still open? You guys gonna have another one?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice,
mate. It's honestly, if it wasn't for time, I'd have 10 kids.
It's sad, isn't it? The financial system has put such a burden on.
I know
the Australian population.
It's the only point of life, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Philosophical. Making money is just a means to do something with it.
But I think it's because you make money
No,
Like,
So my,
money doesn't make you happy, but a lack of money will make you unhappy.
my phrasing, my full phrasing to it is: if you have enough time, you have enough time to make money, and you have enough time to devote to your
That's true.
your family. So if you've got time, you can get everything
Yeah.
else. So time's your biggest thing.
And Chrissy, I never understand what her job is.
Is she an engineer? Is she like a scientist? Does she design
she's fucking
lights
smart.
I know she's fucking smart.
Yeah.
I can see that. But like, what does she do? What is it like?
She is by education an electrical engineer.
Okay, so that's why
I'd probably say is hands down one of the hardest uni degrees you'd probably do.
Are you biased there?
No,
Because Nick says his degree is the hardest.
Very. What's he studying?
Philosophy. Well, there you have it. I think that says everything.
Philosophy 101. It's the maths that you have to do in it, in that course is very difficult.
Yeah.
Sophisticated maths. So you have to be pretty smart to do
Yeah.
it. And the irony is that to actually do her degree, you actually, because no one wants to do it because it is quite hard. No one wants to really be an electrical engineer, particularly no girls. I think she was like one of two girls in her cohort. That it's you don't need to get particularly good marks to go and do it.
Yeah.
At uni, like you could be a pretty average student and get into it.
I could do it.
She's also qualified to be. She's done the training. She needs to register to be actually an electrician as well. So,
Oh, really? So you graduate as an electrician too? when you do it?
no,
Okay.
she had to go
Do extra.
She recently just did it because it's a part of her business. But she does a lot of interesting stuff like airfield lighting, fire protection.
Yeah.
road
She's
lighting.
done
She told me she designed the lights at the airport for the runway or something.
So they distribute for a company that
That sounds important.
supplies the lights to a lot of runways in Australia in particular.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, if the plane can't see, they ain't landing.
Yeah, it's
We don't want an Air India repeat. You know what I'm saying?
pretty highly regulated.
We don't want people jumping out the plane. At the last second.
They'll probably be landing about here, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, we do see a few planes, located in Mascot. So that means the kids are destined for success.
No, that's
Coming from mathematical parents.
You-
One an electrical
so-
engineer, one as an accountant.
So you get like the tiger mums that would say your kids need to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You can't force a kid to be good at maths, but you can say that regardless of what you do, you have to do maths during high school because it's just a cornerstone to a lot of stuff that people. Some of the best and worst clients that I get are the ones that come in and go, "Oh, I don't know anything about my numbers. I hate numbers. I didn't do maths at school.
Yeah.
I'm not. I just want to hand this over." I'm like, fantastic, great. Pay me more. I'm going to have to do more hand holding. But the reality is, like, it's not a good position to be in that you rely on random external people just to get your head around a profit and loss.
Yeah.
Like some people are that far removed from wanting to do any maths. So that's one cornerstone.
But I always argue in education that the reason I did because I did IB, so I didn't do HSC. Do you know IB?
Like international baccalaureate. Like
it's all
it's all the same, but like we called it high level math, which is the equivalent of what's the
advanced.
Yeah, like whatever it is. I can't remember. And I don't think it taught me, like I never use, people's always like, oh, you're never going to use trigonometry, like when you need Pythagorean theorem. But I feel like the problem solving of it helped me figure things out, like a bit more autonomous with my.
And you don't feel uncomfortable around numbers.
Yeah.
So the HSC is.
Yeah, I know. I tell everyone that I've found some mistakes that I could be an accountant. Would you hire me?
I'd hire you.
Let's go. See, like I read through the books. I was like, Peter, there's a few mistakes here, and he was like, oh, there are a few mistakes. He don't want to talk about this.
No. I was going to make a point. I was going to make a point around. There's now like you go look at our education system and how like skewed it is. Kids that don't do maths or do general maths can get equally comparable grades to kids that do advanced maths, which doesn't make sense.
That's true, yeah.
Some kids doing
Because it's all
something
scaled,
harder.
right? Yeah.
It's all scaled. And you're like, that kid's doing a harder subject.
Yeah.
Just because he got 80 and that other kid got 80 in
Yeah.
general maths, like
It should scale.
It should scale. He should
Well,
be better off.
you know, again, that was what was so good about what I did. The IB is that you're not working against your cohort, and I've always thought that's a massive problem with the Australian system. Is that HSC, VC, you're working against each other. People don't want to share notes. The better school you go to gets graded better. Correct me if I'm wrong. Whereas IB, you're working for yourself. Like there's no scale. Like there's no
So they
scale.
don't scale against other.
No,
so
they
you
don't
get a
scale.
mark and-
So if you get, it's all done out of 7. So if you get a 7 out of 7, right? Because you go to a shit school doesn't mean you're actually going to get a 5 out of 7.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not across how they scale stuff, but
Yeah.
if you're a smart kid at a shit school, you still get a very good mark. It's just that you can't rely on your colleagues to like push you up.
Yes, exactly right. Whereas that's the whole thing with selective schools and why they're so selective, right? Is because they want
cohorts.
the cohort to perform so that it pushes everyone up. So then the school looks better and and they get more funding and blah blah blah. We can go down that rabbit hole if you want, but I've always thought it's a massively flawed system, and I've always that's why I kind of pushed myself to do international baccalaureate, because one was because I thought I was going to go to uni overseas, and two is just I thought it was a more fair system. I'm like, what? In year 11, I was like, I'm dumb.
That's very mature of you. I just went to school and did what my parents.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Well, my parents kind of advised me on it, but I was like, this is a flawed system. Like, why would I work against other people who are either going to pull me down or pull me up?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see the point in it. And two, I thought, and people say I still think I'm dumb to some things, but like, I thought I was dumb in year 11 because I just wasn't working.
Yeah.
So my grades weren't good. So I was like, why would I do something where I'm going to get scaled against other people? It's going to pull me down more. So it was kind of more, you're giving me too much credit by thinking I was mature to think that. Like, I was like, what's going to work out best for me? Yeah. It's like, as if I do the work on my own, not if I pull everyone else down and they get the shits with me and don't want to share their notes.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, IB, like, because I did that, everyone was like, oh, I'm going to hand you my chemistry notes. I'm going to hand you my math notes. And I'm like, fucking sick. I don't have to do any study. I can just, I don't have to go to class. Like, they'll just share with me what people were recording the classes and sharing with me the recordings. And it was crazy. Yeah. So it was really good. What were we talking about before that? Kids' education. Yeah.
Education.
I don't know, something like that.
We started on we didn't really conclude the conversation about Evander and Egan's report card.
Yeah, go on, report card. Give him a report card, Chris.
I don't work with Egan, so
Egan's good. For a 2.5-year-old, I give him an 8 out of 10.
But again, I just said it was a matter of a teething process.
Yeah. He I think when I asked you whether he could move up, it was a question, not a demand. But it was because I thought he was sort of flatlining where he was. And I've seen your classes over the 3 years now. You get waves of cohorts.
Yeah.
Now that junior kids class now, the average age would be 3.5.
Yes, I agree.
So then you put
and that average is lowered now.
Yeah.
Used to be 4 or 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
we were like, it was a massive, and again, we know each other now, so we can say this, but it was a massive deal for us to take Evander at 2.5. Like we had never done that before.
Yeah.
And he tricked us. Because remember that
he had a good lesson.
He had a really good first lesson, and he sprung it on us. And the second one, we were like, "What have we done?" The second one, it was fucking garbage, and we were like,
because you just opened at that stage.
Yeah.
The good dig was that he was like one of 2 kids.
Yes.
You guys were still figuring out how you wanted to run the class. You were taking it together, and you were basically privately coaching him or just mucking.
Remember, he would sit in your lap.
Trying.
Yes,
the
I
whole
have pictures
time.
of it.
Really?
The whole time he would sit in your lap.
I don't remember.
You
Yeah.
would chase him. He would because he
I do remember chasing him around the
Yeah,
mat.
and then you would do remember like going up the mat in the correct, like you would sit him in your lap and do it with him and hold his arms and go backwards.
No, I don't
like you were
remember.
guiding him through every movement.
So
remember.
he at best could do 10 or 15 minutes but then he would break away.
I do remember him running around.
and you would chase him.
Yeah.
And I think after like 6 months, 9 months, you're like, oh, actually, we've got to like stamp this out. And you basically said no more. But it was a big teething thing for him there.
Yeah.
Right.
To like run around going, oh, no one's going to chase me now. I'm just going to go sit back
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. But,
Egan's, on the other hand, he'll sit there for half an hour.
and then there was this thing where he went through this period where he just wanted to play guard.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
And he just wanted to wrap his legs around your legs.
Yeah.
And now I don't know what's happened. He's
He
completely
tackles.
forgotten.
He tackles.
Yeah, he's forgotten what it's like to play guard. He's like, no, I'm not going on the bottom. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going on top, which is good in a way. But yeah, But anyway, report card. What do they put in a report card now? They don't put grades. They put like
smiley faces.
Yeah. They put like generally doing well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would say he's doing
Exceeding expectations.
Yes, yeah. Like Egan, I wouldn't say he's exceeding expectations, but for a 2.5-year-old, he's slightly above expectations, which
Good.
Yeah, which is good. And Evander's like, I think doing well in the big kids class. So
Yeah. Well, he had a round robin. Like one of the first classes he had with you, you had like a round robin of wrestling, and
I was just doing specific training with
yeah,
So I just start them in scenarios. Are we talking about off the wall at the end?
Yeah, but it was
like a Shark
first
Tank.
and second.
I was doing king of the mat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he wrestled a couple of the kids that were his age, and
Yeah.
then he wrestled one that was a year and a half older, and it took him down. And this kid's like bigger than him,
And you
stronger
were
than him.
and you were like proud dad moment right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that sometimes
Yeah.
with the dads, you know, like they're like, oh yeah, hell yeah, he's got
The 7-year-old is taking it down, like, and the 7-year-old is just 11, like,
what's going on?
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, doesn't even know he's here. Yeah.
Funny.
So, what's next for Blackwater Tax? What are the projects that you're allowed to talk about?
Well, we just recently merged with another firm. Yeah. So it's good
what are the
guys, same
benefits of
standard.
that?
Shared resources, like
So it's like you're
build out the
combining
team.
forces.
Yeah.
It's like medieval days.
It's similar backgrounds, like similar age.
Yeah. Greek?
No, he's not Greek.
What is he? What is he?
Does it matter?
Yes.
This day and age. No. He's half Chinese, half Filipino.
Do you like
yeah.
drinking hot water?
I don't know. Haven't
Yeah.
asked.
Yeah, Chinese do like the hot water.
Do.
Yeah, so ask
But he
him.
could be more Filipino. Like
Yeah, but imagine if he likes drinking hot water. You guys could be
Tee
best
it
buddies.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So shared resources, bolster the team. It means you can kind of rely on other people in the team. He's worked at a big international accounting firm as well, so similar professional background as well. So it's good. It's good. Just sort of ironing out the details now.
How is that going to propel you guys to the top of the accounting world? Merging.
I do, so to a point
Shared
I made
resources,
earlier,
yeah.
you don't ever. So the reason why I left a big firm was because they're political beasts. There's hundreds of partners at these firms, and at the firm that I was at, you might be a partner. Only 5 or 10 of those partners actually make the decisions about what happens in the business. They're like the dominant equity partner.
Are they usually old men?
No. What at the firm I worked at, one of the key partners, who was also the chairman for a period of time, was a lady, and she was like fierce. Like, yeah,
Terrifying woman.
yeah, terrifying woman. Like just like dominant force within the firm, and she would just like her
Young or old?
middle
Mids?
age,
Yeah,
like
okay.
very successful, very very competent in what
Yeah.
she did. And they would just call the shots. So I would work for a couple partners. A couple of them were moving up to that level, but a couple of them were like just juniors.
And
they just get told how to vote at a partner meeting? So imagine we running a business together, and you have all the control, and you go, Peter, this is what you're going to vote on today, and Chris is just like,
what can I do? Yeah.
what's the point? Soulless.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't want to get too big. I want to get to a size where the team's efficient. There is some.
How many staff do you have now?
We've got a team of 8.
Oh, that's pretty good. Full time?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, got a team of 8.
You're contributing to the economy.
contributing to the economy.
Yeah.
I like to think that.
Yeah.
We're contributing to the economy as well, mainly the young economy.
The young economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to talk about this on the record. What are these new contractor laws? You need to tell Chris about this.
Yeah, they're pretty
Because
pretty onerous.
this spells trouble.
They're pretty onerous.
For the jiu-jitsu community, because I know a lot of Brazilian gyms that'll be hitting the panic button right now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
So
What's transpiring?
some recent
Tell
rules
me.
around how the ATO
Just make sure we're recording.
how the ATO views contractors versus employees. Now, these rules have largely been in place for quite some time, but in layman's terms, if you are hiring someone and as a contractor and they're basically working on an hourly basis and they're getting tasked.
Which is exactly what happens here.
You're getting tasked as if like the relationship is of the nature of an employee, and they have a whole bunch of qualitative criteria that you can make that assessment. And if on the sum of those things, it more lends to being an employee relationship, you have to pay that contractor super. That's in
I
black
think
or
we
white
briefly
rules.
spoke about this.
Could you like, surely you could spin that, you know what I mean? Like how, like, I feel like a lot of businesses are going to get out of this.
So the ATO is pretty explicit in saying that the form of the contract that you have. So if you have a contract arrangement with me and you specifically stipulate like you are not an employee, you agree that you are not an employee, that doesn't fly. The ATO looks beyond that and goes, well, what's the nature of the relationship?
Right.
So can they delegate work to someone else? Can they choose their own hours? Are they able to go and make profit on their own accord? Are they working for set hours? Is there an outcome derived from the work that you're offering them? Things like that go into consideration. So in general sense, it's very hard for most contracting relationships that are on an hourly basis to be seen as anything but an employee.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, what are the exceptions? Like, maybe if like a tradie company and they quote you for installing shades on your lines or whatever.
That's the contractor because they're coming in, they're providing.
They're doing a one-off type.
And like half the cost is them buying the blinds. But you just getting someone to come in, it's really targeted at this sort of gig economy or like multifaceted contractor economy. Where the ATO just sees this as an opportunity to regulate more, tax a bit more.
Of course they do.
Is there minimum wage on contractors? Like,
no.
So if I said, Nick, I'm putting you on a contractor role and I'm charging you $5 an hour, he could accept it.
I'm pretty sure you this is why the world of small business is so complex. You could be fine commercially on that contract. I'm not a lawyer, can't give legal advice. But that contract could be stand up. But then he could just go, well, fuck it, I got a problem with you. I'm going to go to Fair Work and push on all these other buttons to say, but I should have been an employee. You probably lose that.
Yeah, no.
So it's so complicated.
I feel like it's really hard to win. You know what I mean? Like win is the wrong word. To do everything correctly. Like you're always fucking up on something. Like how am I meant to know without speaking to you directly that these changes are coming into effect and I have to now pay my contract?
When are they coming into effect?
So ignorance
already.
Oh, they're already
1st of July, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So ignorance is no.
I understand that, but like it's hard to know all the rules. You know?
It is, and they keep changing.
Yeah.
So
that's what I mean.
The government does have some leeway to say, in good faith, you should have known. But you didn't. So we'll work out a solution with you. But if they form a view, and it could be as subjective as getting the wrong ATO case manager on the wrong day, who's pissed off with their husband and they're just going through a divorce and they want to make someone pay. And you can get a case manager that just says no to every, as an accountant negotiating with the ATO on behalf of a client.
Is what you do?
Sometimes you get a case manager where you just go, I'm getting nowhere. Oh, I've just got to hang up. I've got to go. And then you hang up and you call back and hope you get a better case manager. It's like it can be like that. The payment arrangements in particular are one that we deal with a lot more recently, and the ATO is getting harder at putting in place payment arrangements with clients. So if you get one that's crap, and I tell my staff, if you get one that is just stonewalling you, just politely just say, hey, you'll call back in tomorrow when you've spoken to the client.
Yeah.
And then just call back and get someone else.
Hopefully you get someone else.
And I guess that kind of leads me to a question I wanted to ask, which is how lenient are they with mistakes? Because, and I say this to Chris all the time, because I do the books in inverted commas, like I'm sure that I've made a mistake somewhere, right? Just as you guys have. You know, you know what I mean? Which is normal. Like you can't like we're human, right? Human error. How lenient are they with mistakes? Do they expect everything to be like, man, you just put through a fucking hubba bubba as a business expense? Like what?
You got to think of the ATO as business, and they have a limited amount of resources to essentially police and oversee.
Like how forgiving are they? I guess is my question.
I would say for the most part, if it's genuine, how
do they determine if it's
subjective?
Okay.
Like if you can show that, actually, I did ask my accountant about this, and actually, I didn't code it. It was my wife who was doing it because I was sick. And you have like email trails that you can show and say like, look, this was done in good faith. It was an accident. They're for the most part pretty agreeable. Where they become at the opposite end if you've got bad behaviors, like you never talk to the ATO, you don't pay on time, you don't lodge on time,
Yeah.
they'll put you in a bad behavior class.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if you're doing something dodgy as well, we're not going to be particularly lenient because
Yeah.
you're not meeting your basic requirements
So-
that you're meant to here.
Yeah. Do you think it's in that case always more favorable to have an honest accountant? Because I'm not going to throw anyone on the bus, but like I've spoken with, other business owners and they're like, they will brag to me about how little,
dodgy? You don't-
about how little tax they pay. And I'm like, brother, you make 10 times the amount I make and you're paying less tax than me. How is this possible?
You don't. So the ATO has a list of bad taxpayers. They also have a list, which is probably a more important list than a list of bad accountants, dodgy accountants.
Yeah.
They basically will have a higher risk of ATO audits across their clients.
Yeah.
And they're probably more randomized those audits too.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a good accountant that does the right things and helps work with you in those sort of like fringe areas to get better tax outcomes, like tax minimization strategies, that's the best that you can ask for. If you're wanting to go down that other path, that's another path for a subset of people that are happy to play that game.
Yeah.
That game will catch up with you. The ATO just is they're a business and they're a data business.
So you think that game always catches up with you? Like
100%.
100%.
100%. It's
So
that if that guy thinks he's getting away with it,
yeah.
the ATO has already collected data on him and another 10,000 people that are doing this.
Yeah.
They're just biding time to make sure that it's materially worth it and that they've collected enough data on enough taxpayers that they'll go and make a task force for it. But
But that's the thing is like they are so smart. The
They're
ATO.
so
I know. Like we talk shit on them all the time and stuff. Sorry, ATO, if you're listening, but like they are really clever. Like every time I try and think of a loophole, and I'm like, I'm a genius. I've figured something out. You're like, nah, they've thought of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like-
but they've thought of like I don't know how to explain it to people that don't run a business, but it's like they have thought 400 steps ahead.
Well, you're not
of
the first person to run a business. So
No, I know. I'm not saying
so-
I am, but I'm just saying like people listening that don't run a business won't understand. But like they are genuine. Like I'm amazed at how much they've thought of, and obviously they've been collecting taxes for
That's
years,
why we have
right?
such a complicated tax system. That's
Yeah.
why people are worried about AI. There will still be a place for accountants in an AI world.
Yeah.
Or we will still be able to provide advice because our tax system is so complicated and it's ever changing, which means we'll still have some role to play within it.
Yeah.
We have a self-assessed
Are you worried about AI?
tax system. I don't know. You just have to be aware of how it evolves and see where it can fit into your business. If you're going to fucking shit the bed and just decide that you shouldn't wake up in the morning because of AI, I think you've got bigger mental problems.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but yeah, they are really smart, and they always do think of closing down my genius loopholes,
They
which
do.
really pisses me off.
they do. They're a data matching business. So
It's all data
collecting
now. Yeah.
They're collecting data. It's not even a person that's doing it. It's huge supercomputers that will just be processing all this data from every source that you can think of, public and private sector.
Yeah.
They're data sharing with all government agencies. And it's not if they can catch up with you, it's when they'll catch up with you. A big one during COVID was
Yeah, I know this one that you're going to
the
say.
Baz scam.
Yeah.
And it was running viral on TikTok where people were like, oh, you just set up an ABN and you put in all these fake expenses, which is tax fraud.
Yeah.
Fake expenses, no invoices, claim all these expenses, and then you'll get a GST refund. You could do that. You could go do that today. You probably get the first refund, probably. And the second one you'll lodge, you'll probably get pulled up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when you'll get pulled up for a please explain, or they'll know full well what you're doing because you might have done it with a dodgy accountant.
Yeah.
And then they're like, this is a full blown audit. Like there would have been people at the beginning that got away with it for more than one period.
Yeah.
And the ATO just started picking up all these red flags saying, what the fuck is going on? These businesses actually don't exist. They don't have bank accounts. Like this is going into, it says it's for this ABN, but it's going into a random different bank account. Why? Start data collecting.
Surely you've
Get someone to
have you gone through an audit before, like with a client and helped them?
Yeah, most of our
Do they shit their pants? Like fuck's sake.
So there's a spectrum of audit. You can just get like a plain review, which is like a please explain. People get them quite often if they've claimed some expenses on a personal tax return for capital works that they've done. So like they've fixed up an investment property. That's a common one that we see that's like, hey, have you overclaimed your expenses? Now that's an ATO review.
Do you think it's just like a warning? Like, hey, mate.
It is like, hey,
Yeah.
because quite often we're like, no, we've looked at it. We think that they are eligible as expenses and they're not capital works. But a more aggressive thing is like a letter to a business that says like, can you please explain these motor vehicles? Like and they're looking at probably an FBT audit as an example.
What is that? What is
Fringe
that?
benefit tax. So,
Oh, yeah.
So if you've got, if you're paying for
Everyone's-
employee benefits like motor vehicles,
Yeah.
Gym memberships, things like that, it can attract FBT. Motor vehicles are the big ones where people think, oh, I've got 150 grand in my business. I'm a construction guy.
I'm going to buy a Ford Ranger.
Okay, yeah. Oh, well, no, that's like potentially a work vehicle, but they go, oh, I want to go buy a Porsche.
Yeah.
So they go buy a Porsche, and it's not a good way to buy a Porsche. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually a very, very expensive way to buy a Porsche.
Yeah.
Because that's not a business vehicle.
Yeah.
So that could trigger an audit. And then they won't necessarily just ask for the FBT stuff. They'll ask for everything. They'll ask for all your information.
That must
So-
be such a headache to get everything together.
Well, this is where you have to understand the question that the ATO is actually asking. So you would sit down with a client and go like, we'll talk about this internally. What are they actually asking? They've flagged you for an ATO order because you went and bought a Porsche and you didn't tell us.
Yeah.
Like, why have you bought a Porsche in your company? And then you'll go, okay, well, we're not going to give them everything. Well, you're going to have to put your hand out and get a slap on the wrist and say, actually, this is an FBT event. We're going to lodge the FBT return for it. This is the information that they need to be satisfied. And here's the tax bill. And you proposition that to the ATO, and they're like, tick. You knew it was for FBT.
Yeah.
You've given us the information. You've lodged
That's
it,
the correct
and
answer.
and you've paid your tax, and you paid your taxes that we wanted. So we don't need to look at all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Surely we could get away with buying a Porsche because we do so much social media and stupid videos, and we could say that we're using it.
I don't think there'll be a strong enough nexus
Really?
between the value why you need a Porsche for your social
Can't even
media.
buy groceries.
No, but like, let's just say, yeah,
Don't
it's
even make sound.
true.
You're still talking about that.
Hey, you don't say anything on the record. No, but like, say we made enough money, surely we could be like, oh, it sits out the front and it's just a cool thing that's at the business, and we drive it around and we've camo wrapped it and we've got the fucking 411 Penguin number plates on it.
I just made a video for my social media yesterday that
Oh,
said
God.
like,
Here we go.
just because you've got like a logo on your car doesn't mean it's a tax write-off.
But like, what if it's always in videos and you're doing marketing with it and stuff? Surely you. But like, when does it become a work expense then?
we have
Surely you could go to the ATO and say,
we have a client. They're in the creative space. They have a little small side hustle, and they make maybe 10, 20 grand a year from this side hustle.
yeah,
But every year they go on a huge trip to Europe and produce content over there, and they want to claim like 40 grand in expenses. And you're like, well, the connection doesn't really add up, because yes, you're making some content over there. Yes, you're doing some stuff, but you have to moderate it between some be critical. The ATO hates it when you're not critical and you just go, everything on this table is tax deductible. They want you to think about it and be critical and say, well, this we do use every day. We use these cups every day.
yeah.
This is a business expense. This we only use half the time, so we're only going to claim it half. The other half we use for personal use. So they want to see that you've actually consciously thought about it, because if you can give them a methodology
Yeah. And
that
say-
makes sense, that's an easy job for
Yeah,
an auditor to go, yeah, that's
No,
reasonable.
I feel like we have everything that makes sense. Like to touch on what you're saying. Like, say, like for example, we went to Perth last weekend, right?
that's for a competition.
Yeah, but surely we could claim most of what we do on that trip. Not
and
everything.
some reasonable living away from home expenses, like some food and travel. Definitely your travel and accommodation.
Yeah.
And some food, but if you went out and had a huge meal at
no, I
top
get that.
restaurant and bought wine,
No, but
I
like,
wouldn't say like that.
you know what I mean? Like, say because the boys are weight cutting, we're buying some Gatorades at Coles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
surely you can write that
Yeah,
off
yeah.
because it's
And
like,
it's a materiality thing as well. Like you're probably talking about $50. The ATO cares in principle, but they don't have the time and resources
Yeah.
to chase you over $50.
Yeah.
They care about some dodgy business that's claiming tens of thousands,
Porsche.
thousands.
But see, I feel, and you're going to say you're a fucking idiot, but like, I feel like I could go to the ATO and be like, look, I want to buy a fucking Porsche. I want to put it out the front of my business. And I reckon I've got a good claim here. Would that be the better way to go about it?
You
Because
can do private rulings. So
because you're asking them for
Yeah,
permission
so
and you're not just doing.
we do private rulings
Yeah.
pretty regularly where
Yeah.
we will a client will come to us and we'll give them the advice and say, look, this is the space that you're in. This is the issue that's at hand. If you want comfort, we can set these this background out and our advice in a submission to the ATO to get their private ruling on it. So they will say, okay, yeah, we agree. Before you buy that Porsche,
Cool. Yeah.
you can.
So there is like some leniency.
There is some scope.
Yeah.
Like there's a cost. This again goes to you have to pay for the advice. Like there's costs in us
Of course.
preparing that.
But you would do
advice.
that for free
But
for
that-
us because you.
But that gives you comfort. Like that gives you comfort, and you're not worried at night. Like, oh, when's the ATO going to call me?
Yeah,
about that
yeah,
Porsche?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, I think overall, like, and I'm not just saying this for the sake of not getting in trouble, like, we kind of try and follow the rule book because you're an accountant that follows the rule book. Like, so we try and align with what you tell us to do.
you want to, you want to because it's an easier.
But man, I want that Ford Ranger. You know what I'm saying? Like, that
rubbish cars,
Porsche. We need that.
They're rubbish.
I don't know. I'm just making it up. Like, I want that Porsche, you know,
You
at
want
the
the Porsche?
front.
Yeah,
We want to wrap it in some chrome, you know?
You do not need a Porsche out the front.
You got still got your Mitsubishi Triton.
Nah, I sold that. Yeah, no, that was a write-off, that thing. That was a write-off. No, but could you buy a pet for a business? Like, say we wanted to buy another Chihuahua to hang around in here. Would that be, could you write that off?
I don't think so.
Why?
No,
I'm just trying to see, like, what,
you could.
is that because you're,
The only
could
time,
a really good accountant figure out a way to write that off?
maybe if you bought like a Doberman or something,
Like
and
a
you had
security dog.
security dog, then you could.
What if we installed a puppy cleaning station here?
A puppy cleaning station.
Yeah.
Really going off your core business model, which I probably wouldn't recommend.
But, like, would you say the cafe is going off a core business model?
No, I think
Okay.
it's complementary.
Okay,
But
all right.
you're sitting there watching dogs when you could be training guys on
Yeah.
for $200 an hour is probably a better.
But, like, okay, this is going way left of center, but, like, say we've got a commercial tenancy, we could fit a puppy cleaning station in here and pay people to do it so they could bring their dogs,
You
they
could.
get washed, and then they train. It would be a fucking weird business model,
Yeah, we'd-
but surely you could make a case for it.
do a creche.
Shut up, bro. Everyone that doesn't know the joke is we tried the crash and it failed miserably. Peter always gives me shit. I'm like, you know what? At least I tried.
You should try.
Yeah, everyone was asking for
Yeah.
a crash, and now
I don't feel like you tried though. I feel like you wanted to make sure it failed so you didn't have to do it.
do you think so?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You're being mean to me there. I reckon I tried. I came on Monday and taught an extra class just for these
True.
parents, like,
True.
and I made $0 from it. We paid out of our pocket for the babysitter and everything. So, I don't know. Maybe I think secretly I don't. Yeah, if I was teaching the classes, I'd be like, oh fuck, like it's a bit of a pain in the ass to do this. But my missus goes to a Pilates place where they have a crash.
Yeah.
And
I think
it's-
that's the right niche for it though, because
Yeah.
you've got 99% women,
Yes,
and
yes.
probably half of those are.
Hey,
Not a-
I learned from doing business, I learned that it's probably not going to work in
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, but in Pilates, it may work. What's the weirdest thing you've ever written off?
Hmm. Can I take a toilet break and have a think about it?
Yeah. Pee break. What's the weirdest thing you've written off?
We don't go outside the box too much. Most of our clients are pretty.
No stripper poles or
mainstream.
anything like that?
Probably the most interesting client that we had. We got approached during COVID by basically an events manager to do the tax work for a bunch of OnlyFans accounts and models.
But that's big at the moment. Like,
Yeah. So
were they making big money?
so it was we actually helped with a couple people that had arrived in Australia. They had visas.
Yeah.
They both had. There were two sisters, and they only had first names, and we needed to set companies up for them. So you can't really set companies up on ASIC without a first and last name. So we actually had to do this whole paper lodgement thing. It took ages to get it set up. It was quite a burden. But if you take them as
Is that like their stage name?
no, this was
That
their
was
legal passport
name.
names.
Right.
It was just a first name, no second name.
That's very odd.
It was a bit bizarre because we got a whole bunch of like documents for their visa applications.
Have another cookie.
They were basically sponsored by some random 55-year-old guy from Canberra. So it's like
Hell yeah,
it's a
bro.
bit bizarre. Didn't ask too many questions.
Granddad's been busy.
About the nature of that relationship, but yeah. So that was probably the most interesting, weird.
Was Christy getting worried?
Well, I at that stage, I didn't know what OnlyFans was. I was calling it fans.
Don't lie.
I was calling it fans only for like 2 months to my
Don't lie.
colleague. I'm
Don't
like,
lie. You knew what
he's
it
like,
was.
it's OnlyFans. I'm like, yeah, fans only. And he's like, I'm like, it was a foreign concept to me that people pay money for something that's like a free on the internet, and half the internet's full of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Each to their own.
Yeah.
Interesting. What country did they come from?
Southeast Asia.
Oh, poor things.
Yeah.
Do you think they were exploited?
I'm not going to take the ethical one on that.
Yeah.
I'll take the knee on that one.
Okay. And what's like the dodgiest client you've like? Do you have any funny stories of like you're like, fuck, this guy is going to prison?
I think I spoke to you about it a while back. I had the strangest client that came to me. We acquired an accounting for a small retiring accounting firm book a few years back. We had a few legacy clients from it, and this guy contacted me and he goes, "Oh, you manage one of my entities. It was a partnership, but we dealt with the other guy. We never had any communication with this guy."
Yeah.
That client left like a year before this guy reached out, and he goes, "I need an accountant that's going to sign me a letter because I want to get a Yamaha motorcycle." And I'm like, "Look, you're kind of no longer a client, and I don't actually have any background on you." But he kind of turned up at the office, and I sat in with him for half an hour while he talked to me about this stuff. And within the space of
Is it the
5
conspiracy guy?
conspiracy
Yeah, I
guy,
remember.
within
I remember.
5
Sorry.
minutes, he was telling me that we're living in like the 50th version of the world that we're in, and
I remember
that
you telling
we're
me
actually all controlled by aliens, and they're going to turn up soon enough to tell us that this is all a big scam,
A big hoax.
right?
Yeah.
Then he proceeded to tell me that, which is a common conspiracy theory, that the ATO is an illegal entity.
Oh, yeah, I've heard this one. Yeah, yeah. And they can't actually tax you. Yeah.
And like I kind of indulged it for a little bit. It would be a good story for Chris.
Yeah.
And the saddest moment where I'm like, okay, I need to wrap this up, is he started talking about like his 5-year-old kid, and I'm like, this kid at home has
Poor
no
child.
hope.
Yeah.
Like he's getting
yikes.
this stuff. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I can't really help you. You're not a client. So
See you later.
I'll see you later.
Ah.
But thanks for all that information about the aliens coming.
Do you like the alien conspiracies?
As a novel story.
Do you believe that there could be aliens?
I'm
You're on the
from
alien side.
from a scientific basis, it seems implausible that we are the only things in the universe.
Chris doesn't believe in the aliens. He thinks we're not.
Oh,
We are
I'm not-
technically
I'm not
aliens.
getting into
It's all a matter.
Why?
It's all a matter of perspective. We're aliens.
We want your take on this, Chris. You're the educated one when it comes to aliens.
I'm not getting
It's
into
getting baited.
He
wants to.
I'm
Just throwing
not
it
well
up.
enough to be delving into these rabbit holes.
I
Throwing a Trump dick, he'll
No.
dive in.
No.
He's off Trump at the moment with
You're
the
off Trump.
Epstein
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Just the tax breaks.
No, it's not the tax break.
Tax breaks for his rich mates. So go.
No.
Bro,
I feel like he's put his foot in it a bit lately.
Yeah.
He's just getting involved in things
That's
that
the cult.
originally.
That's a cult of personality.
MAGA
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Bro, I really
Yeah.
hope the aliens exist. I'm just gonna say that. Like,
In what capacity? You want them to be like little microbes on an asteroid, or you want them to be like
Nah, like these big
our
green
overlords?
things. Yeah, no, not overlords. I just want to hang out with them. Just
hang
ask them questions. Like,
How do you think that goes down?
I'd be like, "What's your tax system like? How can I write this off? Help me out here."
a universal tax?
I'd find a way to make money off them.
Yeah.
I'd do like a petting zoo. You guys in?
And then you can write off you're buying a chihuahua.
I could write off a Porsche. I reckon Porsche rides with the aliens. Yeah. Anyway,
Lord.
we've been chatting for a while. Anyone you want to shout out so we wrap this up?
Shout out. What's
Like-
like practice? Who do I shout out?
Your wife, your kids, your fam.
love them.
Yeah.
Give them a thumbs up.
Your Instagram. What's your Instagram for?
Can't remember.
uh,
Blackwaddle Tax.
Yeah.
And my Instagram is
it's run by a social
the-
media person,
yeah.
so
yeah.
Oh,
it's
is it?
definitely
It's not
not-
run by you now.
nah.
It's definitely not run by me. It's What is this? It's Economos _Peter.
All right, there you go. And go like those videos if you want to learn about the ATO and their wrongdoings.
Your comment.
How they
online.
how they rip everyone off. And yeah, thanks for coming.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being our
Very,
accountant.
Yeah,
very quiet today, Chris.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
No,
always
he's
quiet.
not well, so
No.
I had to run the show. Cool.
Thanks.
See ya.